Netflix's thriller series Ripley is not only proving a hit with critics in its own right, but is also helping to rehabilitate the reputation of a failed 2022 Ben Affleck thriller. Starring Andrew Scott, the series is a retelling of Patricia Highsmith's acclaimed 1955 novel The Talented Mr. Ripley, a story that has been adapted for the screen on several previous occasions. However, while the parallels between Ripley, Highsmith's original novel, and earlier versions are obvious, the series also has more subtle connections to Affleck's much-maligned movie. Although Netflix's Ripley contains several differences from the original book, the story follows the novel's basic premise. Scott plays Tom Ripley, a con artist hired by the father of a wayward son to persuade him to return home after spending too long abroad. In typical Highsmith style, the story soon descends into a complex, criminal spiral, with Ripley becoming besotted with his Mark's seemingly carefree lifestyle. Ripley's stylish black and white cinematography and gripping story has helped secure it an impressive 87% on Rotten Tomatoes, a score that both encourages viewers and helps redeem a previous failed Highsmith adaptation. Deepwater was the last big Patricia Highsmith book adaptation before Ripley. Although Ripley's success is helping to secure Highsmith's reputation for the next generation, the last major adaptation of her work arguably had the opposite effect. Starring Ana de Armas and Ben Affleck, Deepwater is a 2022 erotic thriller that follows the same basic premise as Highsmith's eponymous novel. De Armas and Affleck appear as husband and wife Vic and Melinda Van Allen, whose complex relationship quickly leads to murder. Yet despite the story's similarities, Deepwater was poorly received by critics, scoring just 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. Prior to Deepwater, Highsmith adaptations had an impressive cinematic reputation, thanks to major projects like the 1999 The Talented Mr. Ripley, Alfred Hitchcock's Strangers on a Train, and the Oscar-winning Carol, based on her 1952 novel The Price of Salt. However, after Deepwater's lukewarm critical response, it's fair to say that Highsmith's novels took a reputational hit. Now that Ripley has re-established the writer's stories, the mistakes made in Deepwater have been somewhat redeemed. Why Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas' Deepwater movie had such negative reviews? Deepwater ending so different from the book. Even though Deepwater shared a premise and several major details with Highsmith's novel, the movie had many crucial differences, contributing to its negative reception. For instance, in the novel, Vic's characterization as a murderer is made fairly clear from the outset, with much of the tension arising from dramatic irony. By contrast, Affleck's version of Vic is a somewhat bumbling character, who often accidentally kills his victims rather than being a diabolical schemer. The result is a much less compelling and believable mystery.